The average person only stays in their house 11 years. The average marriage only lasts 8 years. The average person only keeps their car 6 years. The average person only stays with the same company for 4 years. Change. Change is inevitable. It's a constant of life. Life is fluid, meaning constantly moving, not static. Something as serious as marriage, where people stand before one another in front of a priest and supposedly in the presence of God and vow to each other in the presence of God that till death do us part. After they make that vow, the average person will break it in 8 years. After you sign a 30-year mortgage, you will sell your house by 11 years. After you buy your shiny new nice car, you get in it, 6 years later, it'll be a thing of the past. The average RV only lasts 3 to 5 years before someone hands it in, gets something else, or gets rid of it. So before committing in life, and definitely before making serious long-term commitments, remember the averages. Remember the constant of life is change. Should that prevent you from ever committing? No. Look, there are certain things in life that, you need to commit, but you need to commit to yourself first. And always you. After divorce, people say, I lost myself. After selling a house, it's a relief. Because a house takes up a lot of your time. So you're going to have to try to figure out for you. You're going to have to try to figure out for you how much commitment you want to make. And how long and how quick will it change? In our mind, thank you, Woohoo, and thank you, Robert, anyway. In our mind, sometimes, right before we get ready to commit, we envision ourselves always being in the static state of blitz. Even before I bought my house, I kind of envisioned like the rest of my life playing out there. I had my dog, and I would always tell my dog, you'll be with me forever. The average dog lifespan is only 10 to 12 years. Of course, I always share with you guys, 80 years is the average life human expectancy. Why do I reflect on these things? Because they help me to make better decisions in life as I get older. It helps me to understand what commitment is and what it isn't. There's no commitment you can make that's going to last forever. Nothing. Because you're in a temporary world. Okay, now, certainly you can believe in the afterlife, and I think you should have faith. But that's for each person to determine, and this message is not about a religious sermon. Okay, you'll have to go on your own spiritual journey. This is about a practicality of life, understanding of life, and the different things that you'll face in making a commitment of time, a commitment of money, to some things that you may think are going to last forever, or that you're going to want them forever. You're not going to want something forever. Most things you're not going to want. After a while, you get tired of it. So be cautious in your commitments. Be cautious in your vows. Seize the moment of your life. Can you enjoy the day without committing to something other than self-care? Self-care's got to be the commitment number one. That's why I say often, like, a lot of people always try to tell me like their sad story about someone who they're in a toxic relationship, or they're in a bad relationship, or a political somebody that's wrong. It's all a deflection of self-care, because no one really wants to go to the gym. No one wants to go for a walk. No one wants to do healthy stuff. They always want to blame someone else is destroying their life. But you control your life. You control if you change your number, you can give it to no one else. You can be totally anonymous like this. Committing to yourself, man, that's a scary thing for a lot of people. Easier to commit to someone else than to yourself. Easier to commit to a 30-year mortgage than to commit to, can I be content? Easier to, commit to an RV than just to hit the road in which you have and see how you like the road. There's nothing wrong with however you want to live your life. Don't let me define it. I'm just saying, give some thought to life. Remember this. Remember that the average house gets sold after 11 years. Remember that the average marriage ends after 8 years. Remember that the average car is traded in after 6 years. Remember the average person leaves their job, their company, within 4 years. Remember the change of life. Don't let it scare you. Let it guide you to be someone who adapts. Someone you gotta let go. You gotta learn to let go. That's a discipline to let go. The mind wants to latch on. You're gonna get older, and you're not gonna look the same in certain outfits. Okay. Even if you keep up in shape and keep certain things, that's why one of the hardest things to look at sometimes is a beautiful person that ages and then they decide to get like lip injections or some type of plastic surgery. Like I even think Eminem got plastic surgery. Of course, Kim Kardashian did and all. And to me, it looks, even the people have the best doctors, I think they look nasty. Joan Rivers, I thought she was a comedic genius, but she looked horrible. It killed her. Now, again, if you want to get plastic surgery, I'm not mad at you. My father got a nose job. I used to think like my nose was too big at times. Now, do I care? No, I'm good, man. I'm good. Like I tell you, man, you're over there trying to look good for what? To get in a relationship that's going to end after 8 years? Guys, here's some hope for all you ugly psychopaths. Everything ends. Everything changes. Enjoy the moment. Don't obsess over something. I often said, like, there was a season of my life where I had house fever. I felt like I had to buy several houses. There was a season of my life, where, I had RV fever, hitting the road. How do you burn that fever off? I think you do a lot of envisioning. You do so much envisioning that you can eventually see yourself getting tired of it. If you look further enough into the future, you can eventually see yourself saying you don't want this. Thus, you end up saying, let me position my life as flexible as possible. The more flexible you are, the better. That's what yoga is about. I mean, yoga is about strengthening your core, letting go of some thoughts in your mind, but also a level of being flexible. Bruce Lee had a quote like the bamboo tree is able to survive storms because it's flexible. Whereas trees that are very stiff and rigid, they break when there's heavy winds because they don't have any movement in them. Life is movement. Time is like a river. You can't touch the same spot twice. You can watch highlights of your wedding, but the day's over. 8 years from now, you're probably going to hate that person. You can, remember your house warming, but 11 years from now, no matter how, after several renovations, renovations are the hope. They're the facelift of your house, hoping that it'll inspire you again. But once you get a facelift, it never stops. Then you get something else. You get the Michael Jackson syndrome. It's one surgery after another. And then you realize that you just hate it. You're not happy. Happiness inside job. Commit to self-care. Commit to going for a walk every night. Commit to less things. Why? It gives you more mental peace. And it helps you understand that I obsessed over something so much, even a relationship, for nothing. Because the reality is everything is just fading. However, seize the moment, enjoy the good times, enjoy what you have, what you work for, the fruits of your labor. Don't even worry about like saying I have to have this. Now, this is an older person, middle age. So when you're younger, you got to go through your own seasons, just like I did. But I want to plant a seed with you. When you find yourself having some type of RV fever, relationship fever, house fever, take a step back and say, what are the averages when people commit to something? Now, certainly there's above average, but how do I like commitment? How does it make my creative spirit feel? Do I get overwhelmed and anxious? See, as soon as I'm getting ready to make a long-term commitment, I just don't feel right. Does that mean you should keep pushing forward? Not in my opinion. Not unless it's a really healthy, thought-out decision. And that's all I want to share tonight, guys. Click that thumbs up button, share the video, and we'll read all live comments. We'll go from there. Let me get this Florida breeze, like the flashing lights Kanye West song in my background in my head, where he says, like the Florida breeze, while life can't always be this easy. Well, life is always this easy when you're in Florida. It's true. Robert, he said maybe there was no sound in the beginning, but Woohoo backed me up, so it was fine. Well, I hope it was good. Thank you both for joining. I love Arizona. Well, good to see you. What's up, Sam? I'm doing the best I can overall. I feel thankful and positive, pushing forward one day at a time, one step at a time. How are you? I love Arizona says, stay committed to living the simple life. Excellent comment. The hardest part about living the simple life is don't overcomplicate it. And many times we do overcomplicate it. Like there'll be a time where you're dating someone and probably it's going to be a girl and she's going to say, look, don't mess this up. Keep it simple. Where basically we just have fun together. Because she knows through her own life experience that once you complicate a relationship, ends in a disaster. And he goes, before I buy or sign anything, I always ask myself, is this going to make my life simpler or more complicated? That's an excellent comment that I'm going to have to read again because I think you guys, all of us, myself included, would do good to remember that. I love Arizona says, stay committed to living the simple life. Before I buy or sign anything, I always ask if it's going to make my life simpler or more complicated. Excellent comment. Always remember the Facebook update status where it says relationship status complicated. And every time I saw that, I knew their life was a disaster. Because the more complicated you make your life, and many times that's self-inflicted through overcommitment, you destroy your life. And that's the truth. That's an excellent comment. I love Arizona. Philip, what's up, man? Hey, Sammy. I haven't called you live in a while. Well, it's good to have you, and I'm thankful for you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, too. All right, guys, I think I read every live comment. Can I stretch this out? I could talk about whatever. But when I see the energy isn't there, I don't overcommit to a live feed. Why? Because I'm not committed to anything other than self-care and other than trying to improve every day the best I can. So, guys, go on peace, stay positive, do what you can, keep pushing forward.